This is my 2003 Yamaha TT-R 125. It's not the LE, it's not the electric start, it's a standard TT-R 125. Got it a couple weeks ago, used off my local Craigslist. It came with a K&N air filter, brand new Michelin tires. Yeah, it's a very nice bike. And if you have a little bit of experience on a bike, say an 80 or whatever, I mean, even for your first bike, this is a great bike. I mean, to be honest with you, I've never liked Yamahas that much. Since I own one, I'm attached to this bike. But I'm a huge Honda fan. I would still go for a Honda Sierra F-150 any day, but my problem was I couldn't afford one of those. So I went for this, and I'm completely happy with it. And it sounds amazing, because mine has no silencer, and it has the FMF titanium 4. So I'm going to do a quick startup for you. I tried making this video once, but I didn't even notice I was babbling and going on about the bike, and I went over 15 minutes, and it said I cannot upload a video over 1 gigabyte because of my piece of shit phone. So yeah, I'm gonna start it up for you. Get an exhaust clip. Sounds very nice. I can't run it for that long because I live in a really tight neighborhood. She doesn't like to start in the cold either, so it'll take a couple kicks. So as you can see, it sounds amazing. So yeah, I mean, when you first get one, say you've never ridden a TT-R 125, it's gonna surprise you the torque it has. But other than that, it's great. It's great trail bike. Excuse me, sorry. It's a great trail bike. It's definitely not a track bike, especially with the suspension it has. It has a trail suspension, standard suspension. And I know I hear this question comes up all the time. Not I get this question, but I've seen this question come up all the time. I mean, I've had this question in mind until I got this bike. Okay, the comparison between a YZ85 and a TT-R 125. A YZ85 is a 2-stroke, it's a motocross bike. Everybody thinks that it's like the boss of this bike. But I've ridden a YZ85, and this is mine, obviously. My friend's got a YZ85. The YZ85 is lighter. It overall top speed is faster and better suspension. This bike, well, because it's a 4-stroke and it has that exhaust on it, sounds better. It will come off the start faster because it has more torque than the 85. It'll come off the start faster, but it is heavier. So those two are comparable. They both have their pros and their cons. I know the top speed of this bike, I think, is, what is it, 55 miles per hour. Top speed of YZ85 is like 65 or 7. Like 65, something like that. And this bike will accelerate quicker. But say if you do a drag race, you're gonna rip and go right off the start with this bike. You're gonna think you're gonna win the race. But then all of a sudden the 85 with its little 2-stroke ring is gonna come whipping past you. So say if an 85 didn't have a power band, which is impossible because it's a two-stroke. Say if it didn't have a power band, they'd probably be almost equal. Maybe this would probably even be faster. So yeah, I recommend this bike for you who are getting a first bike and whatnot. There's one thing I want to point out, actually a couple things. Yamaha was very smart, and they positioned the Kickstarter in just a perfect way, so that if you go to kick that over and you slip, you slip off the foot peg, or the foot peg off the Kickstarter. You slip your foot, you're gonna smash your shin on the spiked foot peg. Thank you, Yamaha. What else did they do with it? Well, another thing is, when I first got this bike, I started up, revved it twice, and I just got this bike. All I wanted to do was touch it. I finally got my bike, yeah, woo. And I accidentally grabbed the exhaust. After a startup and 2 revs, that burnt my hand so badly. Like, my skin was brown because it, like, burned. It's not made for jumping. That's the one thing. I mean, go ahead, jump it, whatever you want to do. But, yeah, it's definitely a trail bike. It's not a motocross bike. And this is probably just because it's this bike, it's my bike, but if sometimes I have a hard time, say if another thing I want to mention real quick is, compared to a YZ85, if you have a stalling issue, if you go and pop it forward and stall. I used to do that with my friend's YZ all the time. The first time you ride this bike, you're like, what the hell, why didn't I not stall? This bike, I can give it a little gas and I can just go like that, and I'm not gonna stall. I can just go, it's not gonna stall. Depending on your bike, this is my bike that does that. And they don't like to start in the cold either, but I forgot what I was gonna tell you earlier. But yeah. So yeah, I definitely recommend this bike. Yeah. So, if you want to go motocross, get an YZ85 or a KX85 or CR85. If you want to go trail, definitely. Bye.